Jay. I'm a life purpose, confidence, and happiness life coach. I have created this YouTube channel in hopes to help hurting women to get back their power, courage, and confidence without feeling guilty and embrace their true happiness in finding their unique life's purpose. Today, I would like to talk about red flags in your relationship. When you take a close look into your life, you might wonder how in the world you ended up here in your relationship. In the beginning, everything looked fine, but not anymore. The thing is that many women miss or minimize early warning signs or red flags in their relationship and in their partner may exhibit while they are dating. The partner looked charming and kind and attentive, having good manners, was the soul of the party, except here and there he would make sarcastic comment about your appearance or criticize your choices, or maybe show up late for the supper you prepared, or maybe forgot your birthday or anniversary. But you say, well, it's not that big of a deal. However, slowly you start noticing how your charming partner evolves into verbally aggressive, emotionally abusive, and unavailable partner. And then you wonder what happened. Well, partners are not coming holding a sign that reads, "Hi, actually, I'm a jerk. And after I charmed you enough that I know I've got you, I am just going to do 180 on you, making your life miserable. I will just take from you, but I will not give you back anything. I will treat you like a thing or my personal assistant who is supposed to play a particular role in my life. I will make you feel it is impossible to leave me because once in a while, I will go back to being charming and kind. But after a while, I will get back into my normal mode of treating you with disrespect, being selfish and self-absorbent, emotionally unavailable and verbally abusive." Well, if they came with such sign, you would run for the mountains. Unfortunately, they are not carrying the sign that would warn about a potential danger. Therefore, you should notice the red flags in the beginning of your relationship and not ignore or minimize them. I like the analogy psychologist, family and marriage therapist Dr. Ramona Probasco gives to her clients in her book, Healing Well and Living Free from an Abusive Relationship, from Victim to Survivor to Overcomer. It's a great book, and I would recommend anyone who's going from any type of abuse to read it. And I will also give you the link into my description to the book where you can get it. So I like her analogy when she says that when her clients come to her, she says, "I'm noticing," and they say, "I'm noticing only one red flag," which translates to, "So Dr. Ramona, I can handle this, no need to overreact." I like to use a visual that quickly illustrates my point, she says. I ask them, "If I promise to bake you my famous homemade brownies and bring them to our next session, would you be interested?" To this day, not one client rejected my offer. Then I say, "I use only homemade from scratch ingredients with just one minor exception." "What is that?" My clients inquire. "It is a little pinch of dog poo." "Oh, do not worry. The brownies will be so delicious that you won't even notice it." How many takers do you think I have after I tell them that part? You are right, none. My point is, if you observe only one red flag, that is enough. If you do not actually see it, but you sense it, that is enough too. If you wouldn't eat a brownie that had just a hint of poo, why bite into a relationship that has indications of stink? End of quote. Knowing the red flags and noticing them and believing them, it is very important. When you are with the partner and your gut is telling you something is not right with that man, believe it. When people who love you are trying to warn you that something feels unsafe, believe them. When God is sending you some signs, believe it. You might be just dating right now, or you might be just newly married, or might be in a marriage for many years. you might be divorced and looking into starting to date again. Notice the red flags. Notice the things that are not right in the relationship and do not ignore them. If it is possible, to communicate that to your partner right away and ask for a change, or get out of a toxic relationship. Otherwise, you will lose your self-worth and self-esteem, lose your joy and passion for life, and will drag through life feeling miserable. We will look at some behaviors that your partner demonstrates, and these might be the red flags worth noticing right away. The best thing is when you notice that at the beginning of the relationship and you decide not to be involved with that person anymore, this way protecting yourself from further heartache. These are some red flags that you should not be ignoring. Number 1, he does not respect your need for time alone and pushes to see you all the time. We all need a healthy space. We need our own time, and that should be respected both ways. Do not feel obligated to agree to go every place he wants to go, to answer every single text right away, or answer every single call, especially if you are busy with something else. Do not ignore the person or his healthy effort to connect with you, but if you feel that he's crossing your boundaries and being very invasive and pushy, let him know right away. Observe if he will be respectful of your boundaries, or he will still continue to demonstrate disrespect to your need for time alone. If that is the case, you want to be aware that it will be part of your relationship and you will not feel respected. Number 2 is not respecting your time and is constantly late or postpones planned events at the last minute. That is not a good sign in a relationship. Your partner should be respecting your time. Showing up late or not at all is a sign that he thinks just about himself and his plans are the priority. He does not care about you or your effort, and we all can get late once in a while or have to postpone the plans. That's totally normal. But if that is a habit, it is the red flag, and do not ignore it. Again, communicate it and set the boundaries. Explain that if he's late one more time, you will have to leave after 10 minutes waiting. If the pattern repeats itself, next time you might not agree meeting with him or planning anything for you too. Number 3, discourages your hobbies and interests, family and friends. A relationship should add depth and joy to your life. It should make you feel more alive, more yourself. It shouldn't diminish who you are and what's important to you. And while it's normal to spend a lot of time with a new partner at the beginning stage of relationship and consequently less time with friends or family, it is, however, a red flag if you feel like your partner would be angry, jealous, or critical if you spend time with your friends, family, or you want to continue with your hobby. Giving up things that were once important is another red flag. Communicate to your partner that you are not ready to give up on your pastime activities, your friends and family. You are ready for a healthy balance, but he is in no place to demand of you to stay away from your friends, family, or quit doing the things that brings you joy. Number 4 is being dishonest. There's a lack of trust in your relationship. When a person has difficulty being honest with himself, it may be hard for them to be honest with you. Some of this behavior may not be like calculated and very intentional, but simply a learned way or habit of coping. However, being out and out lied to is toxic. A person who holds himself unaccountable for their actions lacks integrity and lacks respect for the partner. And you may feel that in your relationship there are kind of like lots of missing pieces that you don't know, or that is purposely hidden from you. Explain to your partner that his dishonesty ruins your relationship, that you cannot trust him. It takes time to restore the broken trust. Therefore, he needs to stop lying to you, hiding things from you, being dishonest with you, and win your trust back. But if it is a never-ending pattern, your relationship is going nowhere good. Number 5, the red flag in your relationship is that he is very controlling, demanding, and angry. In the beginning of dating, usually partners are trying their best to wear a mask of kindness and gentleness. But if the person is an angry individual, that mask will slip off in no time. That is a huge red flag. You should not allow anyone to treat you with disrespect, shouting at you, controlling you, harshly demanding your time or attention. If the person lost self-control and talked angrily at you, that is already a red flag. If he shouted at you and called you names, reconsider your relationship. If that is what you lived for the last year, 2, or decade, today is the day to get back your power and confidence and stand up for yourself, setting some healthy boundaries, clearly explaining that you will not tolerate his anger outbursts. Yes, you care about the person and love him dearly, but if he feels the same way towards you, he will stop his controlling and demanding and angry behavior. Even if that means he needs to go to anger management courses, read some good articles or books on, go to therapy and change his behavior. If not, well, you are out. Number 6, refuses to take responsibility for his actions and apologize. One of the cornerstones of a good relationship is apologizing. Couples are going to get into fights or be wrong about things and get into arguments, and apologizing is a great way to hold accountability and help repair the problem that for two of you. However, if your partner will not admit they were wrong or apologize for something they did, then this may be a sign of a bad relationship. Some people have a hard time admitting their fault, and this can make the future of your relationship more complicated. How can the two of you grow if one of you constantly refuses to admit their flaws? There will be no growth, no understanding, and no trust. So you need to communicate to your partner how important it is for you to see him taking the responsibility for his actions and how much his apology means to you. However, it is important to let him know that you are not giving him the permission to treat you bad, say sorry, and be good till that happens next time, and then next and next and next. Observe his behavior, his patterns, his willingness to not repeat the same mistake. If he continues not to take the responsibility for his actions and instead blames you for that, that is a major red flag in your relationship. Number 7, another red flag is that he's physically, emotionally, verbally, or sexually rough or weird. You want to feel safe, loved, and appreciated, respected in your relationship with your partner. If you notice him being rough with you physically or sexually, if he's quick to speak and slow to listen, if his words are not tender, if he loses his temper, if you are feeling the sense of unease being around him, that is a huge red flag. Do not ignore it. Tell him right away that you do not like it. You do not agree to it. You feel uncomfortable with that, and he needs to stop it right away, demonstrating care, love, and respect towards you. If not, you are just not meant to be together. Number 8, speaks disrespectfully about his former partners or previous relationships. The red flag is indeed there. If the person you are with is always talking about how horrible his exes were, don't get it wrong. Some people fall into bad relationship and it's okay. sometimes to share about that with your partner, and maybe still hold a bit of a resentment, how not fair they treated you and all that. However, if every single one of their exes is crazy and mean, then this may be quite suspicious. If a person is unable to evaluate why past relationships haven't worked out and consistently blames the other party for all of the problems, you can bet with a great deal of confidence that the same thing actually might happen with you in your relationship too. When the partner talks disrespectful about his ex, you could ask if he sees any of his fault in that relationship too. Listen to his response. Also explain him that you do not want to hear any negative things about his exes and would appreciate if he did not bring them into the picture. Number 9, that is another red flag, is that he's very self-centered, prideful, and arrogant. People who are egoistically prideful behave as if they were superior to their partners and entitled to influence by intimidation and indifference. Humility is the most effective antidote for egoistic pride, but most who feel this kind of entitlement and are very self-absorbed and egocentric, they usually don't seek any humility. They feel the right to dominate and are not admitting any wrongdoing and must always end up on top, no matter what the cost to the other partner. Love and selfishness cannot coexist. When you truly love a person, you cannot see them suffer because of you. And if your spouse is in the habit of ignoring your needs and expectations, is very self-centered, prideful, and arrogant, it is a huge red flag in your relationship. It is time to stand up and tell him what you think, ask for a change, or leave unhealthy partnership. Number 10 is vulgar, makes coarse sexual jokes, tells obscene stories. If your partner is making sexual jokes, tells vulgar stories, it certainly makes you feel uncomfortable and disrespected, especially when those vulgar jokes are being made in front of other people or his friends. And all that is just showing that your partner lacks respect towards you and women in general. Ask your partner to stop doing that and see his reaction. Notice if he's ready to give up on that and treat you with respect, or he will just say that you are not being reasonable and are not understanding jokes and you lack the sense of humor. If that is the case, that is the red flag, and your relationship will not be based on love, understanding, and respect. Number 11, flirts around with other females. What can be the worst sign of disrespect from a partner? Flirting with women in front of you will make you feel so disrespected. You should get the hint that your man does not respect you truly when he flirts with other females in front of you. Even if he jokingly mentions being attracted to someone else or is making the comments to other women that makes you feel uncomfortable, you must know that that is so rude and impolite, and your feelings probably do not matter to him as much. If your partner struggles with a wandering eye and flirts with others, know that you are in trouble. Set limits on that behavior. Communicate how that makes you feel. Trust your instincts and get professional help or separate from such relationship if the partner refuses to change and constantly makes excuses for the behavior that hurts you. If he continues to flirt, even after being told not to, then he definitely does not deserve you. A man who appreciates his woman, his wife, his girlfriend, wants her to know how much he loves her. He will not flirt or even look at other women. And number 12, asks you to do things you are uncomfortable doing, whether it's in sex, or asks to lie, lend him money, go against your will. It is important that you learn to differentiate between what is reasonable request and one that is dangerous or manipulative or controlling. Fulfilling each other's needs in the relationship, it's very important. However, respecting each other's choices is even more important. He might ask you such things as to change yourself completely. And it's weird when initially you seem like everything that that person wanted, but sooner or later he begins to request that you change the way you look or operate or change your personality. It is clear then that your significant other looked at you more as if you were his project to work on, but not your partner. If you subject to your partner's will, you'll quickly realize that you don't recognize yourself anymore. The other thing could be that he wants maybe to do you something that you will regret for the rest of your life. This could be anything, but some of the common things could include like abortion or abandon something that you love doing or try whatever substance. If your partner forces you to do something against your will and that he knows you will or may regret, that's selfish. Or to do something that terrifies you. Your partner should not downplay your fears just because it does not affect them. His job is not to make you more terrified than you already are. It is to encourage you and prepare you for when you may be ready, if ever, to address these fears. So asking you to do things you are uncomfortable doing is a big red flag in the relationship too. So these were the 12 red flags in the relationship. When you see a major red flag, stop immediately or as soon as it's safe to do so. Do not try to convince yourself that you didn't see what you thought you saw or find another reason to explain things away. If you spot warning signs that your relationship isn't quite as happy as you think it should be, then try to talk to your partner about what you are feeling and then see his reaction. Know your limits and stick to them. You teach people how to treat you. You are consistently sending out clues to others about how you want to be treated. These clues are your limits or your boundaries. And the limits you set, they serve as your deal breakers of what you will and will not tolerate. They communicate how much value you assign to things like honesty and respect and what you need in terms of like personal space and time alone, or how much physical affection or romance you need. When you honor your limits, you don't allow your partner to manipulate, control, and guilt you. When you boldly set limits in your relationships, you quickly weed out those who do not have your best interests at heart, and you hold that your integrity and self-worth. It is vital to your self-respect and well-being to remove yourself from relationships which are full of red flags. Well, all couples in healthy relationships have a certain level of conflict and disagreement, and it is when conflict is kind of like chronicle and there's that pattern of repeating bad behaviors and toxic behaviors, then it becomes really unhealthy. And the best thing to do is to take your time in getting to know people before you fully commit to a relationship. At the first sign of a red flag, acknowledge it and communicate about it immediately. Remember, you do not want to bite into a relationship that has indications of stink. and set clear limits on what you are not willing to tolerate. And then if it happens again, do not excuse the red flag. You need to leave. If it may feel uncomfortable, or you may be afraid, you will appear as if you are not willing to be flexible when you kind of like put those conditions on people and those limits. But if you refuse to do it, you will become miserable, unhappy person, the very low self-esteem, and a potential victim of verbal, emotional, and even physical abuse. So be strong and courageous and spot those red flags and stand up for what is right. I'll see you next time, and bye for now.